Hey friends, it's Mrs. Hebeler, and I'm so happy that you are here back joining me as we read The Tale of Despereaux by Kate DiCamillo. Today we are going to continue to kind of see what Meg is doing in the castle and getting her introduced to different characters, and we're going to start to see all the characters that we've already met kind of tying all together as we end book the third today, and then we'll start book the fourth the next time. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Today we are reading chapter 31, A Song in the Dark. The terrible foul odor of the dungeon did not bother Meg. Perhaps that is because sometimes when Uncle was giving her a good clout to the ear, he missed his mark and delivered a good clout to Meg's nose instead. This happened often enough that it interrupted the proper workings of Meg's olfactory senses. And so it was that the overwhelming stench of despair and hopelessness and evil was not at all discernible to her, and she went happily down the twisting and turning stairs. "Gosh," she shouted, "it's dark, ain't it?" "Yes, it is, Meg," she answered herself. "But if I was a princess, I would be so glittery like there wouldn't be a place in the world that was dark to me." At this point, Megrissal broke into a little song that went something like this. "I ain't the Princess P, but someday I will be. The P-ha-he, someday I will be." Meg, as you can imagine, wasn't much of a singer, more of a bellower, really. But in her little song, there was, to the rightly tuned ear, a certain kind of music. And as Meg went singing down the stairs of the dungeon, there appeared from the shadows a rat, wrapped in a cloak of red and wearing a spoon on his head. "Yes, yes," whispered the rat, "a lovely song, just the song I have been waiting to hear." And Roscuro quickly fell in step behind Megrissal. At the bottom of the stairs, Meg shouted out into the darkness, "Gore, it's me, Megrissal. Most calls me Meg, delivering your food. Come and get it, Mr. Deep Downs." There was no response. The dungeon was quiet, but it was not quiet in a good way. It was quiet in an ominous way. It was quiet in the way of small, frightening sounds. There was the snail-like slither of water oozing down the walls, and from around a darkened corner there came the low moan of someone in pain. And then there, too, was the noise of the rats going about their business, their sharp tails hitting the stones of the dungeon, and their long nails dragging behind them through the blood and muck. Reader, if you were standing in the dungeon, you would certainly hear all of these disturbing and ominous sounds. If I were standing in the dungeon, I would hear these sounds. If we were standing together in the dungeon, we would hear these sounds and we would be very frightened. We would cling to each other in fear. But what did Megrissal hear? That's right, absolutely nothing. And so she was not afraid at all, not in the least. She held the tray up higher, and the candle shed its weak light on the towering pile of spoons and bowls and kettles. "Gore," said Meg, "look at them things. I never imagined there could be so many spoons in the whole wide world." "There is more to this world than anyone could imagine," said a booming voice from the darkness. "True, true," whispered Roscuro. "The old jailer speaks true." "Gore," said Meg, "who said that?" And she turned in the direction of the jailer's voice. Chapter 32, Beware of the Rats. The candlelight on Meg's tray revealed Gregory, limping toward her, the thick rope tied around his ankle, his hands outstretched. "You, Gregory presumes, have brought food for the jailer." "Gore," said Meg, and she took a step backwards. "Give it here," said Gregory, and he took the tray from Meg and sat down on an overturned kettle that had rolled free from the tower. He balanced the tray on his knees and stared at the covered plate. "Gregory assumes that today, again, there is no soup." "Eh?" said Meg. "Soup!" shouted Gregory. "Illegal!" shouted Meg back. "Most foolish," muttered Gregory as he lifted the cover off the plate. "Too foolish to be born, a world without soup." He picked up a drumstick and put the whole of it in his mouth. and chewed and swallowed it. Here, said Meg, staring hard at him. You forgot the bones. Not forgotten. Chewed. Gore, said Meg, staring at Gregory with respect. You eat the bones? You are most ferocious. Gregory ate another piece of chicken, a wing, bones and all, and then another. Meg watched him admiringly. Someday, she said, moved suddenly to tell this man her deepest wish, I will be a princess. At this pronouncement, Chiaroscuro, who was still at Meg's side, did a small, deliberate jig of joy. In the light of the one candle, his dancing shadow was large and fearsome indeed. Gregory sees you, Gregory said to the rat's shadow. Roscuro ceased his dance. He moved to hide beneath Meg's skirts. Eh? Shouted Meg. What's that? Nothing, said Gregory. So you aim to be a princess? Well, everyone has a foolish dream. Gregory, for instance, dreams of a world where soup is legal, and that rat, Gregory is sure, has some foolish dream too. Only you knew, whispered Roscuro. What? Shouted Meg. Gregory said nothing more. Instead, he reached into his pocket and then held his napkin up to his face and sneezed into it. Once, twice, 3 times. Bless you, shouted Meg. Bless you, bless you. Back to the world of light, Gregory whispered, and then he balled the napkin up and placed it on the tray. Gregory is done, he said, and he held the tray out to Meg. Done, are you? Then the tray goes back upstairs. Cook says it must. You take the tray to the deep downs, you wait for the old man to eat, and then you bring the tray back. Them's my instructions. Did they instruct you, too, to beware of the rats? What? The rats. What about them? Beware of them, shouted Gregory. Right, said Meg. Beware the rats. Roscuro, hidden beneath Meg's skirts, rubbed his front paws together. Warn her all you like, old man, he whispered. My hour has arrived. The time is now, and your rope must break. No nibbling this time, rather a serious chew that will break in two. Yes, it is all coming clear. Revenge is at hand. I'll read one more chapter today. It's chapter 33, A Rat Who Knows Her Name. Meg had climbed the dungeon stairs and was preparing to open the door to the kitchen when the rat spoke to her. May I detain you for a moment? Meg looked to her left and then to her right. Down here, said Roscuro. Meg looked at the floor. Core, she said, but you're a rat, ain't you? And did the old man just warn me as such? Beware the rats, he said. She held the tray up higher so that the light from the candle shone directly on Roscuro and the golden spoon on his head and the blood-red cloak around his neck. There is no need to panic, none at all, said Roscuro. As he talked, he reached behind his back and using the handle, he raised the soup spoon off his head, much in the manner of a man lifting his hat to a lady. Course, said Meg, a rat with manners. Yes, said Roscuro, how do you do? My papa had him some cloth, much like yours, Mr. Rat, said Meg. Red like that. He traded me for it. Ah, said Roscuro, and he smiled a large, knowing smile. Yeah, did he really? That's a terrible story, a tragic story. Reader, if you will pardon me, we must pause for a moment to consider a great and unusual thing, a portentous thing. This great, unusual, portentous thing is this. Roscuro's voice was pitched perfectly to make its way through the tortuous path of Meg's broken down cauliflower ears. That is to say, dear reader, Miggery Sow heard, perfect and true, every single word the rat Roscuro uttered. You have known your share of tragedy, said Roscuro to Meg. Perhaps it is time for you to make the acquaintance of triumph and glory. Triumph, said Meg. Glory, Allow me to introduce myself, said Roscuro. I am Chia Roscuro. Friends call me Roscuro. And your name is Miggery Sal, and it is true, is it not, that most people call you simply Mig? That's a thing, shouted Mig. A rat who knows my name. Miss Miggery, my dear, I do not want to appear too forward so early in our acquaintance, but may I inquire, am I right to ascertaining that you have aspirations? Those are dreams, friends. You see Meg, and she's talking to Roscuro. What do you mean aspirations? Shouted Meg. Miss Miggery, there's no need to shout, none at all, as you can hear me, so I can hear you. We two are perfectly suited, each to each other. I'm sorry. Roscuro smiled again, displaying a mouthful of sharp yellow teeth. Aspirations, my dear, are those things that would make a serving girl wish to be a princess. Core, agreed Meg. A princess is exactly what I want to be. There is, my dear, a way to make that happen. I believe that there is a way to make that dream come true. You mean I could be the Princess P? Yes, your highness, said Roscuro, and he swept the spoon off his head and bowed deeply at the waist. Yes, your most royal Princess P. Gore, said Meg. May I tell you my plan? May I illustrate for you how we can make your dream of becoming a princess a reality? Yes, said Meg, yes. It begins, said Roscuro, with yours truly and the chewing of a rope. Meg held the tray with one small candle burning bright, and she listened as the rat went on, speaking directly to the wish in her heart. So passionately did Roscuro speak, and so intently did the serving girl listen, that neither noticed as the napkin on the tray moved. Nor did they hear the small, mouse-like noises of disbelief and outrage that issued from the napkin as Roscuro went on unfolding, step by step, his diabolical plan to bring the princess to darkness. And that is the end of the third book. I'll see you back here next time. Bye, guys.